Aloha from the Father Bray Athletic Center on the campus of Iolani School in Honolulu, Hawaii. And welcome to the Iolani Prep Basketball Classic presented by the Twin Fin. We're getting set for Moanalua High School versus Mount Vernon High from Mount Vernon, New York. Hello everybody, I'm Ian Young alongside Coach Dean Shimamoto. Carter Uechi will be joining us as well. Coach, game one, day one of the Classic. What do we have in store for this opening matchup?
Moanalua, one of the best teams here in Hawaii, expected to make a run in the OIA, I guess the public school league to everyone else. And they're going to be a really tough team to beat here locally. In Mount Vernon, the defending New York State champions, or at least one of them, and they return a whole bunch of guards. They're going to be special. So both of these teams really like to get after it. They play man defense. They get up and down. So it's going to be a good one.
Yeah, great way to start these 5 days of basketball. We're going to turn it over to public address announcer Rudy Tulongori for the starting lineups.
Aloha basketball fans. Welcome to the Father Kenneth A. Bray Athletic Center here on the campus of Iolani School for the 2022 Iolani Prep Basketball Classic. Game number one features the visiting Mount Vernon Knights from Mount Vernon, New York, and the home team, Moanalua from Honolulu, Hawaii. Please remember that sportsmanship is important not only for the athletes and officials, but also for the spectators as well. We ask that you enjoy the game and respect the dignity of the sport, by cheering for your team's success and applauding great plays. Please avoid all instances of poor sportsmanship. Also, for the safety of our student athletes, flash photography is not permitted at any time during gameplay. Mahalo for your cooperation. Now, let's meet the starting lineups for the visiting Knights from Mount Vernon, New York. A 6-foot senior guard, number 1, Jaden Fury. 5'5" sophomore guard, number 2, Damian Tyler. 6-foot senior guard, number 3, Elijah Morris. A 6-foot senior guard, number 21, Dylan Colon. 6'3" senior center, number 24, Chris Fitzgerald. The Knights head coach, Bob Cimino. And now for the home team, Naminihuni. A 6-foot senior guard, number 2, Skylar Miyasato. 5'8" junior guard, number 5, Gavin Pomerant. 5'11" junior guard, number 10, Michael Barcelona. 6'3" senior guard, number 12, Trey Lanier. 6'1" senior forward, number 25, Kobe Casinas. Head coach for the Naminihuni, Brandon Dumla. Enjoy the game.
Just about to get on their way here. Coach Dean, you've been a part of this Classic as a player and as a coach. For the local players, what's the mindset got to be facing these mainland powerhouses?
Usually when you come in, you're looking up at these guys thinking there's something crazy special. And when you enter the game, it's almost as if you're holding back or you're expecting a little too much from them. But when you get going and you start playing, you realize, hey, we can do some things against these guys. This isn't LeBron James that's out here. These guys are really, really good, but they're not LeBron James. So you don't have to not shoot every shot. Every shot's not going to get blocked. Every shot of theirs is not going to go in. They're not going to grab every rebound. If you compete, you have the opportunity to make a play. So you have to come in with a mindset, yes, cautious. You can't be making silly decisions, but you do have to come in with some bit of confidence.
The Knights win the tip. Fitzgerald getting it into the hands of Morris. Fitzgerald no good on the inside entry. And Vernon with the corner three is true.
Interesting for Mount Vernon, they came right out and they went to the 4-out, one post. One post was trying to decide if he's the one that needs to attack because they do have a bit of a size advantage, but it ends up going kick out for a 3, but that is their strength.
And Skylar Miyasato with the early just penetration and beautiful layup to answer. Ellis's pass, Morris's pass broken up, but Vernon again with the first 5 points for the Knights.
Vernon on the inside. He's able to find that little crease, go up and under on the reverse.
Miyasato no good on the pull-up jumper. Knights back the other way. Tavian Tyler called for the travel. Tyler, one of the 2 sophomores on this senior-heavy Mount Vernon Knight squad. Ball worked around by the Na Menehune. Lanier with the baseline drive and the nice pivot, but no good on the shot. Rebound to Bomarek. Ball goes out of bounds. Will stay here with Na Menehune.
Seems like both teams are figuring each other out at this point, like an early part of a boxing match, not throwing their haymakers yet. Defense staying in front, really on both ends, not gambling, trying to get into the passing lanes, trying to extend themselves. So there's some opportunities for this Moanalua offense to get on the inside. You saw that first with Miyasato.
Both teams a little bit of a feeling out period, not to mention these mainland teams have traveled a long way to get here.
A little bit of different weather. It does take some time to get acclimated. Mount Vernon was here last night with a practice session, and again here this morning. I think just getting used to the time, getting used to the weather. I know we're in a gym, it's air conditioned, but still different.
And Palmer with the recovery sends it up ahead to Skylar Miyasato with a nice trail pass, but unable to finish his Casinas, who gets it back. Corner 3 by Lanier, no good. And Casinas again, keeping the ball alive.
His activity underneath is giving Mount Vernon problems. He might not be the biggest, but he does have that wide body, hard to get around, so he's been touching balls, keeping them alive.
Miyasato finds Casinas, and he'll get to the line. Shooting foul will be on Fitzgerald, his first. Team's first.
Casinas, one of those undersized bigs, really uses that sturdy body type to his advantage, but more athletic than people probably give him credit for just by looking at him. You see how active he is in there, getting touches on balls. He gets up quick, gets to the rim, good hands.
Knocks down the first of 2 free throws. Short on the second. Quickly up the sideline. Here's Morris with the sweet lefty, corner 3.
Let's see how quickly they turn defense into offense, get it right up the sideline in transition. The shooters know where to be. They're right in that corner, right on the 3-point line, ready to shoot it if they do catch it open.
Lanier into traffic, gives it up. And the Knights are quickly back, and on the recovery, Cologne with the putback.
Really a seasoned team out here from Mount Vernon. Coach Semino has been doing this for years. He's been come to the Classic quite a few times. You can see it, right? Like getting out in transition, defensively, making the turnover, then getting out in transition. It looked like a 3-on-2, 3-on-1 drill that you do in practice.
That shot no good by Morris, recovered by Taylor, and it goes around and comes down friendly room there for the sophomore, Tavion Taylor. Good chance by Fitzgerald, knocks it off of Pomerank and back to the Knights. We see our first substitutions of the game. We have Ruben Chavez into the game, as well as Austin Oguma for the Menehune. Also into the game, number 11, Jerome Williams. Williams gets a piece on the corner three and then challenges, but up over the outstretched arms is Jessamy Elkins with a beautiful floater. Williams with the drive across the lane, no good. Back the other way.
Moanalua has had some reasonable looks at the rim. They got 2 or 3 on the inside, and that is the one thing that you're going to have to do is you have to capitalize on your opportunities because you may not get too many great ones. So when you get in and around the rim, you really have to focus and knock those down.
Good ball movement. Corner three is good by Oguma right into the game. No warm-up necessary.
Oguma, Brandon Dumlau, coach of Moanalua, noted him as their best shooter. So maybe he wasn't on the Mount Vernon scouting report, but he definitely knows what he should be doing once he gets out there. So right to the corner, knocks it, catches one ball. He knows what he's doing.
Knocked down three. Skyler with a beautiful pass to Williams and the finish by Williams. Energy boost by these bench players.
Yeah, so nice to have a guy like Miyasato to leave in. I know they went 4 subs, but Miyasato is the constant, and he has that ability to break people down. And once you break people down, you go 5-on-4, then the advantage goes to you no matter how big those guys are. So he did a nice job there.
And the turnover gives it back to Moanalua as Jeremy Garner checks into the game, replacing Skyler Miyasato, who you just mentioned. Possibly give some rest as we near the end of the first quarter. 2 minutes left. Knights up by 6. And we're going back the other way.
Moanalua picking up in the full court. Against Hawaii competition, this full court defense has really worn teams down, but that's going to be the difference against a team like Mount Vernon, who's guard heavy and used to these types of pressure and full court action regularly. So a good test for Moanalua. Again, this doesn't count for their schedule, but it does count for them. We're expected to contend in the OIA. I mean, they're not going to play against a team like Mount Vernon, so this is going to be a good test, and then this will be a good measure of where they're at.
Mount Vernon first substitutions. Jordan Richire in at the center position. Oh, tough fall.
Could see it along the top. Mount Vernon with a horn set, too big, sitting up high on the elbows, and using those double screens almost with a weave type action, trying to come off that double and see if they can shake loose just a bit, but those screens were moving. That's because Moanalua was working to get around them.
Miguel Nunez comes in for Elijah Morris. 5-second violation called. Good job that time by Mount Vernon, denying the pass, and 5-second violation.
They do a really great job of staying in front, using their athleticism, not to pressure, not to create turnovers in the standard way, you know, the conventional way of just pressuring, grabbing, steal, jumping in the passing lane and trapping. They just stay in front. And sometimes it might feel like, for the Menehune offense, may feel like a one-man trap with these guys because they're so long.
Is the high pick and roll, dribble handoff to Tyler, who takes it all the way on his own. With 34 seconds left, puts the Knights back up by 8. The shot clock is turned off. Corner hit again by Oguma.
There's that shooter. I'm sure Mount Vernon will make a quick adjustment on that. Same guy, same spot, same result. You got to do something.
Cologne with a strong take as the clock winds down. This entertaining first quarter. Moanalua weathering the storm to make it somewhat competitive.
Yeah, really doing a good job hanging in there. Oguma played a big role in that. I mean, 6 points, more than half of Moanalua's 11 at this point at the end of the first quarter. And it's going to be tough, though, for Moanalua without Miyasato in there. Miyasato is such the initiator, also a good finisher, also a good shooter. And when he's not in the game, you can see the trouble that they have handling the ball against a team like Mount Vernon. But should be a good one moving forward.
So after 1 quarter of play, it's 18-11 Knights. We'll be back after this short message.
Heart pumping. Muscles extending. Every body is a miracle. And though we share so much, everybody is unique. What's your passion? Hold on to it. We're here to help. With a personalized approach to a healthier you. Hawaii Pacific Health.
And we're back for the start of the second quarter. 7-point lead by the Mount Vernon Knights out of Mount Vernon, New York, against the Menehunes. Not Menehune, out of Moanalua, Hawaii. Skylar Miyasato back in the game. And cannot convert on the kick-out three.
Mount Vernon, again, just playing a straight-up man-to-man. Good help, good recovery. So quick into the lanes to close them.
Off the pick and kick. No good on the corner three. Back the other way. Lanier driving baseline. Ball picked off by the Knights and quickly back the other way. Nunez on the drive is fouled by Miyasato.
Always something of notice when you see the teams coming from the continent or the mainland, as we in Hawaii here say. They play with such great control. They're moving really fast, but it never seems as though they're in a hurry. Never seems as though they're out of control. Get to the rim efficiently, can take some body contact and still get it up. You know, the efficiency, the athleticism, not what we're used to seeing here in Hawaii basketball. But again, that's the reason why this tournament was started. That's why it's valuable beyond measure to the basketball scene here in Hawaii.
What's that John Wooden saying? Be quick, but don't hurry, or something like that. I mean, these teams play that way. I mean, they're never in a hurry. They're always in control, but it moves. Miyasato, ball intercepted, back the other way. Cologne short on the jumper, and we got a tie up. Ball will stay with the Knights.
A lot of times as a coach, you want to tell these teams that the things that you got away with against different teams throughout your preseason, you're not going to get away with today. You're going to have to be sharp. You can't second guess. Nothing can be sloppy. So easy job as a coach because you don't have to tell them. The other team will tell them.
As the Skylar Miyasato drive, he's called for the player control foul.
Offensive foul number 2.
That'll be his second.
So quick defensively. It doesn't have to be high flying, right? You don't have to put a ball into the second row for it to be great defense. These guys are so quick on this Mount Vernon Knights team. They're able to get into the lane and set up. So you really have no option to stop. And Miyasato's a really great guard. Great handle, good control, but You saw how quickly they got into the lane for that charge.
Yeah, tremendous structure and discipline shown in transition, offense and defense by this Bob Cimino team, as always. Bob Cimino recently became the all-time New York Section 1 winningest coach in boys basketball with his 577th win to start this season.
I'm sure he's got to be up here for year 2 for the Iolani Classic. He's got a lot of wins. They've come quite a few times to the Classic. Regular invitees. So as far as mainland coaches go, he probably has a pretty good record here.
Giving Stu Vetter a run for his money. Two of the great coaches we've seen over the years and had the opportunity to learn from. Just a wonderful opportunity for this basketball community in Hawaii to get this exposure to the players and to the coaches and to this environment.
Yeah, Stu Vetter, him a few times, St. John's, Parker Prep, Montrose Christian.
Marek hits the corner 3 on the other side. The corner 3s have been effective for Menehune and draws it to 3. We got a ball game with 5 minutes left in the second quarter.
Coaches on the Moanalua sideline standing up. They wanted to see Barcelona step up, take the hit, take the charge. Instead, he jumped, went for the block, and gave up the and one. What a change that could have been. Could have been Moanalua and Menehune ball going down, but now it's an and one opportunity for Mount Vernon.
Well, that's where you have these veteran guards in Elijah Morris and Dylan Colon, who've been there and know when run is coming, they'll take it into their own hands. Momentum stopper for the moment, but right back is Momarek with from the same spot, same result.
You had Oguma with 2 from the left side, and then you have Pomerant 2 from the right side.
And we have a timeout by Mount Vernon, kind of feeling the Namenehune gaining the momentum, and Coach Bob Cimino takes a timeout.
Coach Cimino saw enough. He's out 2 for 2 from the left corner and then 2 for 2 from the right corner. I'm sure saying, hey, we need to make an adjustment, guys. They're 4 for 4 from those 2 corner spots, and really that's what's keeping them in the game. They're having trouble finishing at the rim. But if you give those wide open looks from the corner, they're going to stay in this game. So maybe soften the help. The help was a little hard coming on the ball handler, which left his corner 3s wide open. So very likely adjustment, but here's an adjustment too. 2-2-1 press coming out for the Knights.
Moanalua working it up the court, and traveling called against Pomerant. Lost his footing there, and the result was a traveling violation.
The big mistake, or the big misnomer for most people, is that a press has to cause a steal. It doesn't. Your goal in a press in a lot of these situations is to force someone to speed up, to go faster than they feel comfortable going. And that's what happened there with Moanalua.
Nice open look by Fitzgerald, but unable to convert. Back the other way, the turnover right back to the Knights. And Morris finishes it with the lefty layup. Put the Knights up by 7 with 3:53 remaining in the half. Rebound by Sampson, recently entered the game. Cologne no good on the 3, and Barcelona back the other way.
Last possession, Pomerant had a nice bounce pass to Williams. Williams got his defender up in the air. I would have liked to see him move into that defender, draw the foul.
On the penetrate and kick, foul called beforehand on Fitzgerald. That's his second. Team's 3rd foul.
Fitzgerald's second foul, but maybe a fortunate one because that kick from Pomerant was going out to a wide open Austin Oguma, who had already knocked down a couple of threes.
Another corner three that time by Barcelona, no good. But ball back to the Hune. Another opportunity. Coming up on 3 minutes to go. Morris with the 3-point, just the space he needed off of that pick, knocks it down, brings him up by 10, and the turnover right back the other way.
Just like on the offensive end, Mount Vernon, with their defense, doesn't look out of control. They're in the right spots. They're extending their arms. They're not extending themselves, taking themselves out of position to give up an easy shot to Moanalua, you know, in transition. They just keep their hands up. They stay in front. Maybe they tip a ball. If they tip a ball, there's someone on the backside that's quick enough to go get that steal. But again, so efficient, whether on offense or defense.
And it seems regardless of who's in for the Knights, they're showing versatility. And as you talked about, that patience. I mean, it's a quickly. I mean, they were down, but no sense of panic, and then quickly back up by 10 with 2:43 left in this first half.
They've been in tough games before. This isn't a new situation for them. They're used to playing against great competition, teams that maybe trying to wear them down, and then instead of them trying to wear teams down. So this is a very comfortable spot for Mount Vernon. Of course, they'd like to be up maybe by more than 10 points, but we talked about it earlier, and there is that need to get acclimated, not just to the time and the travel, but also to the weather, the court, the surroundings, the referees, the opponent. It does take a little bit to get used to that, and you can only do so much during shoot around, and they did their best to get their bodies feeling right, but now that they're playing, I think it's going to still take a little bit more time. You'll really see them start turning in about the third quarter, but not like they're bad now. But I don't think this is maximum for them.
Right.
They're still coming.
There is that sense that they have another gear. And this is only the first of 4 games tonight and 4 games tomorrow for this Iolani Classic presented by the Twin Fin. Basketball lovers delight. You got to come on down and see the great mainland teams coming up with our best that Hawaii has to offer. A great opportunity to see great basketball. Barcelona hits the floater, cut the lead to 9. Wiltshire kicks it out, high pick and roll. Jumper no good by Morris. Ball recovered. And again, no good by Tavion Tyler. Opportunities there, but came up empty. Moanalua sticking around defensively.
Moanalua doing a good job. They're working through a couple screens at the top and finding their way to still contest, stay in front. Nothing easy around the rim, but Wiltshire was working in there. He creates so many opportunities. Here we go, 3-on-1. Just like the drill.
Great look, yeah. Performed to perfection, and Fearon with the finish. Miyasato to Barcelona, who hits the cutting Chavez, who will go to the line. Foul assessed to Wiltshire, his second. And the shooter Oguma checks back into the game for the Knights. Jasami Elkins.
Menehune did a nice job of breaking the 2-2-1 press. Went to the left side, to the right side, passed it to the middle, and got it to the cutting Chavez.
Sideline break by the Knights. Quickly up court, gets Tyler a shot that's no good, and Chavez with the block. And back the other way. 2-on-1 for Moanalua. The Knights do a good job of getting back and taking the charge, and there's that defensive discipline again by the Knights.
Absolutely, you work on that a lot in practice, covering guys in transition. You start out in the press and then you need to get back, and you don't have your man standing in front of you all the time. You need to find guys in transition, close out without over closing out and giving up an easy shot to the rim, and they did that and were able to get to the charge position.
Leak out by Cologne. Pass goes over the top, and Cologne able to finish over Chavez. Put the lead up by 12 with 53 seconds left in this half. Ball knocked up, but will remain with Moanalua. And Cassini's a starter back into the game to close out. Williams gave good minutes for Moanalua. And on the entry, Cassini's not able to finish. Quickly up the court. Nunez to Tyler, unable to finish.
That constant pursuit. One of those things, you always coach it. You don't expect the guys to always do it, but even if you're beat, never giving up on a play.
And on the turnover, Tyler, the end result is a layup by Tavion Tyler. Put the Knights up by 14. Get the ball back for the remaining 6 seconds and counting. A shot no good by Morris, and that will do it for the first quarter. The score after one half of play, it's Mount Vernon Knights 36, Moanalua na Menehune 22. And we'll be back after this short message. hope you're enjoying the Iolani Classic, brought to you by the Twin Fin. Let's go down to Carter Uechi, who is with a special guest. Sorry, we'll be right with you with that interview. Sending it down now.
G, class of 2006 from Iolani School. We just wanted to ask you, who are some of the athletes you played against? What are some of your memories from the Classic?
Oh, great memories, honestly. One of the big stars that I got to play against and guard, even though I didn't do a great job of it, was Kevin Durant. So everyone knows KD, now playing for the Nets. Came here in 2005, and his team won the Classic. I think he won the dunk contest as well. I had the privilege of guarding him in the first half, didn't do so well, so my coaches switched me off of him in the second half. We still didn't do very well against him.
So what are you up to now that you have retired from volleyball? So what are you up to now back in the island?
So I moved home about 6 months ago. I brought my family back after traveling the world, and I have a job in finance now, an investment firm downtown, and doing some volleyball and basketball stuff on the side with some of the kids. And so yeah, so it's been nice to get back into the community and back on campus here at Iolani.
What about any memories from playing volleyball overseas? Do you have any favorites you can talk about?
I mean, I went to the Olympics 2 times, so that was definitely a joy, and got to live in Italy and Poland, Germany, all over the world. So can there's just so many. You can't really narrow it down to one, but just a valuable experience, just for an athlete and for a human. And we'll look back fondly upon some of those experiences.
Hey, thank you, Kavika. Sending it back up to you, Ian.
Thank you, Carter. Kavika Shoji sharing his experience with the Iolani Classic, and great to have Kavika down. I know he's helping in many ways with this Classic, hosting a team. Olympian Kavika Shoji.
Olympic medalist.
Olympic medalist. That's correct.
Along with his brother, who also played with him there on the Olympic team, and Micah Christensen, considered one of the best setters in the world, a Kamehameha product, who we'll see, I believe, tomorrow playing in the Classic. He was one of the top players in the state as a basketball player, and then went on to be one of the best volleyball players in the world, and a member of the U.S. Olympic team that medaled. So a lot of great players that have come through here. I'm sure Kevin Durant's talking about Kavika Shoji right now, going, yeah, I remember playing against that guy. One of the best setters in the world, but I played against him in the Iolani Classic.
Kavika was nice enough to come on campus and speak to the faculty and staff at Iolani, and he actually brought the Olympic medal with him. So the first time I ever saw or gotten that close to an Olympic medal. So cool deal for Iolani School and for Hawaii, to have Kavika. Coach D, tell us about this field this year. What can we expect with some of the teams that are down this year?
So the top-ranked team, preseason #1 in the ESPN poll, Montverde, comes in, multi-time attendee to the Iolani Classic, multi-time national champion team from Florida, Montverde Academy. Some of the names that you may remember: R.J. Barrett, Cade Cunningham, Ben Simmons, among many, many, many others that are on current NBA rosters. And we're likely to see quite a few guys from this tournament end up in the NBA as well. There's 11 players ranked in the ESPN rankings, 5 in the senior class, 4 in the junior class, 2 in the sophomore class, including #2 rated Cooper Flagg out of Maine, but playing for Montverde. Coach Boyle does such an incredible job with that program, but always a top contender. You see them in the Geico Nationals, and now you see them all over on ESPN, and that program is really, really special. But beyond that, we have Neumann Goretti out of Philadelphia. We have Milton out of Georgia. We have Mount St. Joseph out of Maryland. We have Lake Oswego from Oregon, Millennium from Arizona. So many good teams here representing all areas of the country, really. I mean, that's what we get with this Classic. That's why it does take. We talked about getting acclimated, but the 3 teams in action today, one's from Maryland, one's from Florida, one's from New York. So they've come a long way. What's that, about 5,000 miles to be here in Hawaii. But if you talk to any of their coaches, you talk to any of their players, they wouldn't trade it for anything. This is better than whatever weather they're having right now, wherever they're from. And we probably have a few people from Mount Vernon listening from the New York area. And we're at about, what did we say, about 75 degrees today?
Oh, yes, yes. Very pleasant, 75 here in Hawaii.
There's been a drizzle, but as the people from the mainland say, hey, it's still Hawaii rain. It's a little different.
And still time to come on down to the Iolani campus, Father Bray Athletic Complex. That Montverde team that Coach Dean just spoke of will play at 8 o'clock. They play the St. Louis Crusaders, the defending Hawaii state champions. So that's a great matchup tonight at 8 o'clock.
Yeah, the #1 team in the country. They've since lost to, I believe, AZ Compass, and are currently ranked #2 in the ESPN poll. But they're an incredible team, incredible program. The names of the players, the names of the schools that these players are going to, ridiculous. The top of the top.
Yeah.
When you talk about majors and high majors, these are the high of the high majors. The Dukes,
Yes.
Kansas,
Yes.
Illinois. I mean, so many great schools, and still many, still about 7 of them that are ranked that are uncommitted. But what a roster.
Yeah, can't wait to see that game tonight, and these future matchups kind of lining up over the next few days. And we're back. Start of the second half. Same starters that began the game, and a quick play to get Lanier atop the key 3. That's no good. Tyler back the other way, misses the lefty layup on the quick hands, recovers and hits Fitzgerald to start this second half and put the lead at 16.
A good play out of the half, out of the time that they had to prepare during that halftime break. They ran a little back cut to a flare screen, got a nice look at the 3, just went off the back iron. And anytime you can get it into the front court uncontested and get a nice look, that's a win almost, even without making it.
Barcelona with a nice feed to Cáceres, who finishes.
Cáceres just uses that body really well, understands angles, understands how to get that shot off, and tough to defend, tough to block, and that's why he's able to get those to go, especially with that body control and balance.
That time, Cáceres called for the foul. Battling inside against Fitzgerald. That's quite the physical matchup, working for position there.
Moanalua playing without Cyrus Faradane, one of the top players, especially as a big for this Namenehune team. He's been playing for most of the preseason, missed their last game against Kaiser, but he's been a double-double machine for this Moanalua team and sorely missed. But hopefully they can have him back, because with him, they're one of the top teams in the OIA. So resting it now so that he can play later. But man, this is the game.
Oh yeah, definitely.
If you're a local team and you got one game to play, this is the one.
Indeed, definitely missing his inside presence. But Karina's doing a good job filling in for him as the ball sails into the outstretched arms to give the ball to Moanalua with 6:23 in the third quarter.
Casinas did a really great job there defensively on the block. They wanted it, Mount Vernon wanted to get Fitzgerald the ball on the inside, force that cross-court pass, and then the turnover.
Casinas cannot finish on the pick and roll. Back the other way, Cologne with the great take, and is fouled by Casinas, will send them to the line.
Cologne with a great contest on the other end. Casinas somehow ended up with the ball right at the rim and jumped to defend and jumped to block that ball, just hand straight to the air, and he kept rising. Casinas had to adjust that ball so it bounced off the edge of the rim. Not something he's gonna see playing the likes of the OIA East, which they've already started. One game into their regular season, play another game tomorrow. But a little different. This is a tournament in the middle of their regular season.
Dylan Cologne led the Knights in scoring in that first half with 11. Adds to that scoring total. Played a key role in that championship run last year, leading them in scoring, and then held to 6 points in the championship game against Green Tech. But then Elijah Morris stepped in and scored 24 to seal the undefeated 24-0 season and the New York Class AA champion, their 12th title, to lead the Class AA division in New York.
Mount Vernon with two players returning, or two key players really returning from that team, as you said, Cologne and Morris. You can see why they were so valuable last year and why they're going to contend again this year. They did lose some of their bigs, so guard heavier this year, guard focused. Defensively so quick, and they're going to have a harder time maybe on the inside, but you'll see them extend, use that quickness, use that athleticism, use that speed to their advantage. If you can get it before it gets to the rim, then the bigs don't matter, right?
That's right. Good footwork on the spin. Skylar misses the shot, pass ahead up. And Tyler, the sophomore, 5'5" sophomore guard who's been really everywhere on the court and on cue, gets the steal and the finish.
It's almost as though these guys know exactly where everyone's going to be. I mean, Fearon was going way out of bounds, had no eyes on Tyler, but tossed it right to him as if he knew.
Yeah. And that's what these preseason tournaments, to struggle together against good teams, but really get a feel for each other. As each of these teams enter their respective league play, I'm sure every coach would say that this classic tournament is such a valuable experience to take to their respective league play.
These experiences are the best. I mean, you're never going to play anyone this good with this type of athleticism in your league. So why is that valuable? Well, because you get to play a team like this, you have the opportunity to measure. And then you're going to have some successes, which Moanalua has had over the course of this game. So if they do hit a tough patch against a tough team, a contender in a tough game, you can always reference these moments where you're saying, hey, we did this against the Mount Vernon press. So why should, enter a team in their league, whether it's Kailua or Kahuku or someone, why should their press be more effective?
Yep.
You guys proved you could do it against a team like Mount Vernon.
So true. As we get the first substitutions for Moanalua, hoping to bring some energy, and as Cologne hits another three to extend the lead to 22 points with 3 minutes 36 seconds left in the third quarter. Oguma, who hit 2 threes in the first half, unable to convert there. Up ahead, Fearon with no fear. Converts, extending the lead to 24.
Watch that 10-second count.
Get it across, but it's turned over back to the Knights, and Knights will slow it down and run something here. Shot clock hasn't really been an issue, but we are playing with the shot clock here in this tournament.
Yeah, some teams coming into the Classic are more used to the shot clock than others. In Hawaii basketball, there's no shot clock in league or state play, though it will be coming soon to this gym, which already has a shot clock, but it will be implemented into ILH play sooner than later, which is a big step for Hawaii basketball.
Foul called will put Morris to the line. Says to Jeremy Garner.
At the line for the Knights, shooting free throws, number 3.
Talked about seeing that burst. The result of getting acclimated, what happens when a team like this does get used to the environment, used to the gym, used to the weather, used to the basket, used to the ball, used to the referees, and you see this explosion, right? That increase of a lead from what it was to where it is. And
yeah, really in the blink of an eye, right? You turn and you look, and all of a sudden they're up 27 points. Ball to Barcelona. Ahead to Garner, and the block that time by Wiltshire.
this team's so unassuming, right? Like, you don't have the size, you don't have the bigs that are getting up and dunking everything in creation. And we'll see that later with Montverde, but that's not who this team is. This team does this. They get out in transition, stay in control, knock down 18-footers. And if they had stepped out, he probably would have gone to the rim.
Yeah. Yeah.
But well disciplined.
The discipline, the control, and the persistent pressure starting to turn this game into one in total command with the Knights. What do you tell your players when this lead starts to extend and we're with, you know, ending of the third quarter? We still got a quarter to play. Still lessons to be learned?
Yeah, you want to compete. As in any situation, whoever you're playing against, you could be down by 50, up by 50. You want your guys on the floor to compete. And why not, right? You don't get this opportunity too often, so use it.
Yeah.
It may be a foregone conclusion that this game is not going to end up in your favor score-wise. So why not take every moment?
Yeah.
You know, as an individual, as a group, you get to play. Your other option is playing against yourselves in practice, right? Who you're used to, who's not as good as these guys.
Yeah.
This is a different group. So you want to make every possession count.
Yeah.
Every time you get to dribble the ball up against one of these incredible defenders, every time you have to make a pass, every time you want to shoot the ball and you see someone closing out on you, this is that opportunity, because you don't get it here. You won't get it even in league play. But this is better than whatever you're going to see. So why not take this opportunity to improve yourself and your team?
Valuable experience for Moanalua after a very commendable first half, and maintaining that pressure and the activity, which results in a Knight turnover, and we'll go back the other way.
That was one of those situations where they did take that opportunity to work on their defense. They played great man-to-man defense on that possession, got a touch on the ball, forced to stop. It was a nice job. And again, something to build upon, not necessarily for this game or to try and win it, but for something moving forward.
Drop pass, beautifully done Big to big that time. Chavez to Williams. And Nunes left alone gets the easy layup with 26 seconds left. Williams on the strong attack. And that time, Tavion Tyler there, but caught leaning for the block call.
Tyler knew what he wanted to do, but got there just too late. Wasn't able to move out of the way, but also wasn't able to take the charge, and ended up with a block.
Checking into the game for nominee number 12.
Jerome Williams. No good on the first. Second free throw as Lanier. Trey Lanier comes back in the game for Chavez. Williams good on the second. Williams, active hands by Lanier. Moanalua keeping up with the intensity. 10 seconds remaining in this quarter. And Tyler would look to be a shot, but on the cleanup recovery, we have Hadi Adeyi, the right place, right time, to put the Mount Vernon Knights up by 30 as we near the start of the fourth quarter. It's Mount Vernon Knights 57, Moanalua Na Menehune 27, and we'll be right back after this short message. Back for the start of the fourth quarter between the Mount Vernon Knights out of Mount Vernon, New York, and the Moanalua Na Menehune. In the first game of this Iolani Classic presented by the Twin Fin, our next game features the host school, Iolani Raiders, and the Radford Rams. Barcelona on the recovery and kick out to Skylar Miyasato, no good on the three. Recovered by Barcelona.
One thing of note over the course of this game, it's the preseason for the officials, right? So not always do they get to see this type of basketball. So it's different for them. It's a little bit of them getting used to this speed, this athleticism, this physicality. But I thought they did a nice job of really balancing the calls today.
Yep.
Not overly tight, not overly loose. Called what they saw. Seemed more or less pretty fair. And, you know, the coaches aren't angry at them.
No.
I know it is a 30-point game at this point, but still, you do have to commend the officials for doing the job they do because it's such a difficult job.
Yeah, well officiated game, well played game, really fun to watch. I mean, nice flow to this game. And the Knights flow back the other way. Wilton with Wiltshire, with the follow. Put the Knights up by 32 points early in this fourth quarter.
Number 15, Adi Adiye.
It's always an indicator of the quality of the coaching, the quality of the team when you see guys in a 30-point game still getting after it, following for offensive rebounds in transition. They could easily sit back, not chase down that board. Wiltshire, you know, a big contributor on this squad, not saving themselves.
No, not at
right?
all.
And then the other part of that is when you see guys come in off the bench and there's not a huge drop-off in how they do things. You know, granted, some guys are going to be a little more skilled, but are they going to be as disciplined? And you see that with this squad. It's almost carbon copies around there, playing defensively, where they are positioned, how much they're hustling. But again, you get a veteran coach like Samino who's been so successful over so many years. I think this is an expectation for them.
Skylar Miyasato leading this team. Now Menehune in scoring at a 14 points per game clip. Back the other way, and they finished that time by Gerald Jado. Quickly back the other way. Lanier with a corner three. That's good.
Really great job in transition by the Namenehune. Miyasato getting it up to Lanier. Lefty squared quickly. You don't have a lot of time or a lot of room against this Mount Vernon defense, and he made the most of that.
Working inside that, the spinning move is good by Adie, one of the two sophomores on this team.
Bit of an awkward move, but such good body control.
Yeah, almost on the turn, blindly found himself quickly and to adjust and to finish that. Difficult shot. Trey Lanier fouled on the three-point attempt. That'll give him 3 free throws.
Saw Lanier make the last one, so defensively, you're being extra aggressive on the closeout to make sure you don't get a good look. But Lanier did a good job. I don't know if he got hit hard enough to foul down, but he fell down enough to get a call. And there was some contact, and he rightfully should be at the line. But he did a good job by knocking down that first one, which caused that hard closeout for the second one. So good job by the Namenehune.
Substitutes back into the game, and first time seeing Gavin Guerrero, 5'7" junior guard from Moanalua.
Teams that come here in the Classic, the first round games are classically the Hawaii teams versus the mainland teams, and there is a advantage or disadvantage depending on how you look at it. Sometimes the Hawaii teams have won, and we have had that in the past, and Mount Vernon was actually on the losing side a few years ago and had to go into the losers bracket after losing in the first round to one of the better Hawaii teams. But a lot of times it's a lopsided score. And so it's great to see these teams and these coaches get all the players in, give everyone an opportunity.
Yeah, everyone gets to share in this experience. And that time, Justin Muhammad off the great entry and the nice finish by Muhammad. Puts the Knights up by 33 with 4 minutes and 33 seconds left to play. Dribble drive, action, and kick out. Moana looking to free up their three-point shooters on the fill, and the drive and pop no good, but Menehune get the ball back, and Lanier, who's been active this quarter, no good on the baseline shot. Push ahead, and Mohammed again with the scoop shot, which is no good, and clean up that time.
Justin Muhammad.
Excuse me, by Samson, no good, and Muhammad with the cleanup. Trey Lanier with the nice take. No good. Push ahead to Nunez, who converts.
Miguel Nunez.
Really no problem here with the shot clock. As you see Lanier getting one up quickly and knocking down another triple from that right side. Really a smooth lefty stroke. Moanalua has done a good job from behind the arc. Ogumo with a couple, Pomerant with a couple, and now Lanier with 2.
They have shot it well, and some really bright spots for Namenehune to build upon this season. Coming in, they were 5-3 overall record, and pretty successful in preseason tournaments. playing both OA and ILH schools.
As we mentioned earlier, they already started their OIA season, had a win last night against Kaiser, or on Wednesday, excuse me, against Kaiser, and we'll play another league game on Saturday, play through the Classic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then play another league game against Roosevelt on Thursday, so their schedule's pretty busy.
Nice finish by Chavez over the outstretched arms of Muhammad. Chavez has played well today.
Yeah, you can see some valuable pieces. Chavez, Casinas, and again, Faradane out, probably their top big. So when they do get everyone back, it's no surprise that they're going to be one of the best teams here in Hawaii in the OIA League.
A lot of great pieces from Moanalua as we see Guerrero with the beautiful baseline layup. Palmerek still fighting, getting the jump ball, which will
Mount Vernon basketball.
stay with the Knights. And Ezekiel Villegas, 5'6" senior from Moanalua, getting his first minutes of the afternoon.
Again, giving everyone an opportunity. You remember this, Ian? We were playing in the Classic at some point and had the opportunity to play against a really, really good Dunbar team out of Baltimore, Maryland. Keith Booth, Dante Bright, Michael Lloyd. I was a sophomore at that time. You were a senior.
That's right.
And again, not an experience that I've ever forgotten or will ever forget, being out there just wide-eyed, turning my head, looking up and seeing an alley-oop going over my back. And I think I knocked down a 3 in that game. I don't even remember. We were probably down by 45. But I hit a 3 against Dante Bright, who went on to play the college level, and Keith Booth went on to the NBA.
And they were the #1 team in the nation at that time.
#1, man. And unforgettable moments, and there's so many of those types of moments. That was in, what, 1990?
Yep. Yeah, I remember that. I remember being on the court, having the, best seat in the house for the, I thought the dunk contest is starting early this year. It wasn't on the last night. It was on that game that we played against Dunbar. But just, memories really to just last a lifetime. So this Classic has been so great, for the local players. How do you feel the local game has improved, given these experiences of the Iolani Classic?
We've had guys in more recent years have significant success at the next level in college and then even going on to play professionally. So the question is there a Derek Lowe, one of the top players in Hawaii who went on to Washington State, an all Pac-10, Pac-12 selection, played professionally for many, many years. Does a guy like that have that opportunity if Glenn Young doesn't start this tournament in 1983 and get exposure and give exposure to guys like that? I mean, it's raised basketball. I feel like the start of this tournament in 1983 was like the dream team exposing a high level of basketball to the rest of the world. And you see the product now of international players and how good they've become, maybe because of that dream team influence. But I think it's the same here with Hawaii and that influence of Glenn Young in 1983. We have guys, the Derek Lowes and then the J.J. Mandequits, that have gone on to bigger and better things. When before, in those 80s, you weren't thinking that was possible.
Yep.
So a significant impact for sure.
Huge. I mean, to see it, to experience it, and then to believe that you can play at this level. For these local players to play at this level and see it and be exposed to it, it just benefited all of us in this Hawaii basketball community. And more to come. We're just starting. Game 1 is winding down. 10 seconds left. And that'll do it. The Mount Vernon Knights take game 1 with a score of 73 points to 39 scored by the Moanalua Nau Menehune. But both teams put up great effort, great basketball flow. Coach Dean Shimamoto, your thoughts on this first game?
We saw a good first quarter.
Yeah.
It was going to be the guards of Mount Vernon against really the man defense and the attack of Moanalua. And Moanalua hung in there through that first quarter and played a great first quarter. But the efficiency of Mount Vernon, the discipline, that just tends to wear on teams. And it wasn't 10 points and dunks and blocks and highlights and oohs and ahs. They just did what they did. They just kept coming, kept passing it up, kept finishing layups, kept getting stops. They were just consistent throughout the whole night. And once you saw them get acclimated, you saw that engine really start to hum. And that's really the case with a lot of these mainland teams. Night 1 sometimes isn't always what their best is. So you see them on night 1 and you're like, I don't know. And then when the lights come on, it's mainland team against mainland team. They know it's in the quarters or the semis. It really becomes something. So I'm looking forward to what's in the future, not only for Mount Vernon, because in this tournament, I want to see these guards go against bigger guys, faster guys, guys that are used to it. But I also want to see how well Moanalua does this season. And with the pieces that they have and the competitiveness that they've shown, and hopefully getting back Faradane as a big, I think they're going to make a run for an OA title and should be in the state tournament.
So Mount Vernon advances, and they'll play the winner of Leilehua and Mount St. Joseph's, which is game 3 for us tonight. I'd like to thank my partner, Coach Dean Shimamoto, and you can listen to him again tonight at 8 o'clock for the St. Louis Mount Verde game. Coming up next will be the Iolani Radford game starting at 5 p.m. I'd like to thank Carter Uechi for the halftime interview with Kavika Shoji. Thank you also to Kavika for sharing your thoughts with us on the importance of this Iolani Classic and your experience with it. On behalf of the students, faculty, staff, and administration of Iolani School, thank you for joining us tonight on YouTube. Thanks also to our hard-working Iolani Live crew. Mahalo nui loa to the good folks at the Iolani Athletic Department for their assistance. Our manager of media service, Dane Kurihara, and his crew, including Ben Douglas, Kaher Burns, setting up the broadcast location and making all this possible. Erickson Cristobal, our cameraman tonight, and thanks to Director of Communications Public Relations Michelle Heath, oversees all of these Iolani Live productions. So for all of them, Dean Shimamoto, Carter Uechi, this is Ian Young saying good afternoon. Stay tuned for our next game. But for now, aloha.